Digifort allows for many methods of controlling a PTZ camera. I'm gonna show every method here on this video. So the basic method of controlling a PTZ camera is using the visual controls. So I just select the camera and I click on the control and remove the camera. If I keep it clicked, it will change and move the camera and keep moving until I release the button. You can select the speed of the movement here. So this is a slower movement. If the camera supports, I can select this button here. I can just click on the button, it will keep pressed. Now I can keep clicking on the image and it will center wherever I clicked. So you can follow someone, you can follow a car just by clicking on the image. You also have the option of dragging an area with the right mouse button and releasing, and the camera will focus on that area if the camera supports this feature. You have the zoom, zoom in and zoom out buttons here. You have the focus, you have the iris, you have the home button, you have the washer and all your presets. You have up to 9 presets on screen here as a quick shortcut, but you also have a preset list here that you can play or record a new preset if you do have the user rights for doing it. And you can also quickly call the presets by using a shortcut on the keyboard. So you hold Control and just press the preset numbers. So for example, 0, and it goes to the preset 0, or I'll do the preset 1 by holding Control and number 2, and it goes to preset number 2. So it's very fast to change between presets on the keyboard shortcuts. Here you also have the PTZ patrols that you may have recorded and the camera auxiliaries that you can activate and deactivate. And you also have the visual joystick on the screen. So the visual joystick will allow you to control the PTZ just like an external joystick, but using the mouse. You do have the zoom control here, zoom out, and you can also use the zoom with the mouse wheel. On the visual joystick is a continuous movement. And if I'm not using the visual joystick, I can also use the mouse wheel for doing the zoom, zoom in and out using the mouse wheel. And if you do have, you can also use a USB joystick to control the PTZ of the cameras. Here you can configure the joystick. You would need a USB joystick for that, but you can configure the buttons of the joystick to do a zoom, configure which button is going to do the zoom, the focus, the iris, autofocus, and move the camera. You can configure the joystick axis and the sensitivity of the axis, as well as a central margin for some joysticks that doesn't actually return to 0. And you can also use the Digifort, the integrated Digifort keyboard control for PTZ control. So Digifort is very flexible. We can support many different types of PTZ control. And you also can control the PTZ through the API, through an external application. When you have multiple users in the system, it's always important to know who is actually using a PTZ camera. And Digifort shows you exactly who is currently using a PTZ camera, who is currently controlling a PTZ camera, and who was the last person to actually move the camera. So you see here that there's a washed out icon that represents who was moving the camera previously, which you just hover the mouse and you can see the person and the IP of the station. And whenever someone starts actually moving the camera and using it, then I'll have the icon. It's a little bit different now. It shows that there is someone currently controlling the camera, okay? And you can see who is actually controlling the camera. So if I deselect the camera, it means that I'm not using the camera anymore. And if I do select the camera again, now I have a history of who was the last person who actually used the camera. Along with the usage, you can also lock a PTZ camera for usage, for exclusive usage. So you have these lock button here. So you press, now only I will be able to move this camera. Any other user who tries to move the camera will not be allowed to move it unless they take over. And they can only take over my lock if they have a higher priority. So you can actually design your system to allow for the administrators to have a higher priority than the operators, for example, and then they would be able to take over the lock and move the camera. So, whoever person has a lower priority would not be able to unlock and use the camera. So right now the camera is locked for me, and only I can use the camera. And everybody will actually know that the camera is locked and who is actually using the camera now. I can unlock the camera, the PTZ camera, the PTZ controls by clicking on the lock again. Now it's unlocked. Or if I deselect the camera, it means that I'm not using the camera anymore, so it unlocks automatically. If you configured on the configurations, you can actually select if you want to unlock the camera when deselect, or unlock the camera after after a specific number of seconds. For example, if the user actually forgot to unlock. And we also have the scheduling of the operation for the PTZ. So you can actually schedule when the users will be able to use the PTZ control. So for example, you can have a group of users that actually can only control the camera during the day. Then you can configure your schedule to only allow the movement, the control of the PTZ during the day. Okay, and you can configure a list to exclude users from the schedule. So for example, you can put all the administrators of the system on this list, so they would never be part of the scheduling, and they would always be able to use the PTZ control. A PTZ patrol can be configured for PTZ cameras, which means that the system will constantly call a list of presets, a list of configured presets for the PTZ cameras for a tour, for example. So here on the camera configuration, we can create different PTZ patrol schemes. So for example, I can create PTZ tour day. That's the the patrol number 0, and PTZ patrol during the day. And during the day, I want the camera to follow these presets list here. You can select a time between presets, and if the camera supports, you can also select the speed of which the camera will change between presets. And you have a global movement time here that's going to be added to each patrol, to each position. Now, the PTZ patrol can be either used manually. When you have the manual PTZ patrol, here you have the camera. I just added the PTZ patrol, and we have the manual here. That allows the operators to select the patrol and start. So for example, now my patrol is started and it's running. And I can, if someone moves the camera, it will pause. And whenever that person is not using the camera anymore, the PTZ Patrol will play again. So here, now it's paused. Okay. And if I deselect the camera, which means that I'm not using the camera anymore, it will restart the tour again. I can also configure the tour to be running on a schedule. So for example, I can have two different tours. I'm gonna do a PTZ tour night. PTZ tour during the night. And I'll add a few presets here. And this will be my tour during the night. And then I can schedule the operation. So for example, I can select every day here. And during the night, I'll select tour night. And during the day, I will select tour day. And during the night, I'll select tour night. So now I have my PTZ tours scheduled. When I have the PTZ scheduled, it's going to be running constantly on that schedule, which means that the user cannot change between patrols. The user can only pause and play. Or whenever the user moves the camera, the PTZ tour is going to be paused. And I'm going to get the PTZ Patrol operation, and you have the options here. If you want to reactivate the PTZ Patrol automatically, if paused after, for example, a few seconds. So if someone moved the camera, the PTZ Patrol can be automatically reactivated, for example, after 60 seconds, regardless if the person is still using the camera or not. Or just reactivate the PTZ Patrol, that's the default, when the camera is deselected, which means that the person is not using the PTZ Patrol anymore, or the PTZ control anymore. So I deselect the camera, now the camera is back to the PTZ Patrol. The PTZ Patrol can also be configured to, there are some old analog cameras using encoders that has patterns. That's basically the same thing as a PTZ Patrol, but the pattern allows you to record a movement with the joystick. That's usually used on older analog PTZ cameras. But if the camera supports, you can also associate, instead of a list of PTZ of presets, you can associate to the pattern of the camera. So whenever the system starts the PTZ Patrol, it's gonna call the pattern of the camera instead of the presets.